Hey everyone, welcome to this beautiful journey of ours wherein we are going to learn how to carve the incisor. The word incisor comes from the Latin word incidere, which means to cut. Incisors are very important because they play a vital role in, making our face more beautiful. It's a part of our beauty. So let's dive deep straight in to how to carve the incisor. So the first step which we need to learn while carving the incisor is to know the dimensions. The length of the crown of our incisor is 10.5 mm, the root's length is 13 mm, the mesiodistal width at the crown is 8.5 mm, and the labiolingual width at the crown is 7 mm. So these will be the major, crucial, vital numbers which you will have to remember while making the rough cube on the wax cube. So the first thing which we will do is I'm going to keep this aside. This is my wax cube. I'm going to take a sharp Lecron carver, and I suggest you to have a sharp Lecron carver because this is something which will save you from not getting frustrated while carving, and this is going to give you a very enjoyable journey all through your carving. So have a sharp, nice Lecron carver, and whenever you're marking the dimensions, people use sketch pens, this and that, but I use a brush pen, and here's my scale. Let me mark this as my labial surface. This is my palatal surface. This would be my distal part, which will mean this is the mesial. Now I'm going to do the dimensions. 10.5 mm and the root is 13 mm. I'm giving a sharp 13 mm cut here, and let me just extend these lines onto the other surfaces as well. Now I'll cut the mesiodistal width, which is 8.5 mm, and 8.5 marking here. This is my paper cutter. So my paper cutter is not very long, nor is it very short. You gotta have the ideal length when you're cutting your wax. And here you go, a sharp, nice, gentle cut. I'll now carve the labiolingual width, which is 7 mm. I'm going to chop off all this part. So the first thing which you need to do while you start carving is we need to divide our labial side into 3 equal parts, and here's how I do it. I draw 3 lines like this and like this, and this divides my labial surface into 3 equal parts. Now what we need to do is, I want you to observe this curvature here. This curvature is very crucial. This is a nice curvature. Now the 3 equal parts could also be seen like this. So the curvature is very big, very nice in the cervical third here, and then it's going thin and thin at the last part here, at this part. Okay? Okay, because we're ready to cut the labial parts curve. So I'm just carving the same thing out here, this side as well. Cool. So can you observe this shape here? This shape like this. This is what we wanted. So after this, we're gonna go with our palatal side. So I want you to do just the same thing. What did we do? If this was our palatal side's rectangle, what you need to do is you again need to divide it into 3 equal parts by drawing lines, and this is how I'm going to be doing it. So when you observe the palatal aspect of the incisor, what we get to know is this has a nice curve like this. So this part, which is the cingulum, has a nice bulge, but then it goes down and meets the incisor tip. So this slant is what we are going to draw. This slant is what we are going to draw now. So observe keenly. The cingulum here, a nice slant, and then I go meet at the incisal tip. Let me do the same thing here as well. Okay, I'm going to start carving this part now. Don't touch this line. This line is for the cingulum and this meets this bulge. So don't you touch this line when you're carving. So I guess you can appreciate this nice shape here. This is the shape which we wanted. This nice curve and this as well. So the next step after having built this shape of your incisor is to give your cervical convergence and your lingual convergence. So let's start with the cervical convergence. Now what do I mean by this? When you observe the incisor, let's say this part, I'm gonna show you what is the cervical convergence. So our teeth's trapezoidal shape is built by these curves here, these curves. So this is what we otherwise call as the cervical convergence. So to build this, we will draw a nice curve here. So what I'll be doing now is I'll just chop out all of the part which is colored. So let me make it pure white by chopping all of it which is colored. So you see how I'm chopping it? So I'm chopping all of the part which has the ink on it. Okay? And then I'm also removing the part on the sides which is making the whole teeth look like a trapezoid. So this was kind of our cervical convergence now. What I'll be doing next is I'm gonna give it a nice lingual convergence. The cervical convergence is smaller it's less as compared to the wild lingual convergence which incisors have. Incisors have a larger lingual convergence as compared to the cervical convergence. So this is approximately how the cervical convergence would look. I'm going to cut out the border here, giving my teeth a nice lingual convergence, and I'm also cutting it on the sides so that the teeth looks trapezoidal. So this trapezoidal shape is what is required of your incisors. Now I'll just smoothen it up on this side. Smoothen it up on this side as well. Smoothen it up on the back side. I'm going to use my gauze cloth. Cool. So this is your palatal side. I'm going to give the lingual fossa, which is very crucial in our incisor. See, when you see your lingual fossa, we have an apparent, a large cingulum here, and this is your fossa. So how we're going to build this is, let me draw a W-shaped structure, or it also looks like an M in inverted way, but this structure is what we will draw using our pen, ensuring that this cingulum remains the most prominent region in our teeth. And there is also a marginal ridge here. If you observe this marginal ridge, this marginal ridge is also something which we will be building while we carve this part. Okay, So the W is what we will focus on. This being my lingual part, I'm going to draw a nice W here. Can you appreciate the W? Now what I'll do is I'm going to take my Lacron's carver's sharp tip and just insert it into the valleys of my W. It's like this. I'm inserting my Lacron's carver's sharp tip into the valleys of my W, like this. And then I'm just leveling this part up, giving a nice lingual fossa to my incisor. Okay, my lingual fossa is ready. It's got these two depressions here with a nice and prominent cingulum. The lingual convergence, let me make it more prominent, like this. Cool. Okay, my crown is kind of ready except for one last step. So if you see the mesial part, this has a shorter curve or a smaller curve as compared to the distal part, which has a larger curve. So this is what we will build. The mesial side has a less rounded curve here. Using my gauze, I'm just going to give the rounding effect here. And this is my distal part. The rounding would be more on the distal part, so I'm gonna press it more on this side. So if you just observe this keenly, you'll appreciate more roundedness here. So we're gonna build the root of our incisor now. The root's length was 13 mm. Okay, so this is 13 mm. Okay, so after having cut off the roots part, what you need to do is you need to level up your root aspect with respect to your crown aspect. Now what do I mean? I mean you need to pull out all this part. I mean bring this entire wax part in the crown, in the root region, in line to the part of the wax in the crown region. Use your Lacron's carver and just remove all the part which is out of the crown. Now I'll be conscious that my teeth has a distal bend, so I will draw my root with a distal bend here now itself. So this entire part here is waste, so I'm just chopping it out. I'm just giving it a nice tapering from all the sides. Now if you observe the incisor, you'll observe that the tip of the incisor and the apex of the root are both in line. Mark a line from the tip of my incisor to the tip of the root. So your root should somewhat come like this when you're carving. I'm using my sharp edge of my Lacron's carver. From the sides, from every side, ensuring I have a distal bend, a distal tilt. So I'm decreasing the bulk of my root. When you decrease the bulk, your teeth looks more natural. If you look at the teeth from the incisal edge, your teeth must look like a triangle. It's like this. It needs to look like a nice triangle. This would be better. Okay, and the way to do that is to emphasize your lingual convergence. Okay, the same with regard to the root. Your root looks like a triangle from the side. Very crucial. Okay. Now we are coming to the last step of our tooth carving, which is to build the CEG, the cemento enamel junction. Use your marker, use your pen, and our enamel has a nice curve. It has drawing a nice curve in this side where it goes down, then again rises up near the cingulum. I hope you can see this. For doing the CEJ, what you need to do is take your carver from the root aspect to the crown aspect. Take it down like this and make your Lecron's carver touch this line from the root. So it's like this. This is the best way you can carve your CEJ. I told you there is a small bump down here, and then it again rises up near the cingulum. So I'm going up here, and then from the root to the CJ I have another bump down here, and then I go meet the CJ which is near the labial aspect again here. You use your gauze to emphasize your CJ and make it look more beautiful. And there you go, you have your incisor ready. So for final touch, also use your polishing cloth